She's all alone, Cody, and I'm worried about her. Weakening and unwillingly curious, he asked, "Just exactly what's going on?" "I don't know." Pepper sounded unusually fretful. "But she's been nervous and edgy lately, and I think she's afraid. There was some kind of trouble right after she inherited the place from an uncle, but I think that was legal stuff. Now, I don't know, but something's wrong, and Okay, Cody soothed hastily, alarmed and unsettled by the sudden break in her voice. "If it'll make you feel better, little mama, I'll go up there. Just tell me exactly where it is I'm supposed to go, and call your friend to announce me. How does that sound?" "That was a terrific performance, beloved." "It wasn't bad, was it?" "Especially the little heart-rending break in your voice." "I am worried, darling." "I know you are. I also know you've a devious mind and ruthless matchmaking instincts. You were determined to get him and Brooke together, weren't you?" "Of course." "You said you'd warn him if you started matchmaking." "I did, as far as I was able to. He asked if I was trying to fix him up with Brooke, and I said that I'd love to, but that he wasn't her type." "Liar." "Not at all, darling. She won't think he is her type." "Lord, you're devious." "Why do you make that face? Do you have a pain?" he asked anxiously. "No, darling." "Are you sure?" Pepper sighed. 2 months is going to pass slowly. Chapter 1. There was no answer at the front door. Cody shoved his hands deep into the pockets of his thickly quilted jacket and stepped back from the door, casting a hostile glance out over what would probably be a breathtaking view during daylight. At the moment, he could only dimly discern the hulking and intimidating mountains looming all around the tiny valley. Montana, he was thinking in disgust, and in the middle of winter, too. He swore softly, moving out to the edge of the rustic redwood deck that pretended to be a front porch. The durable jeep that had brought him with relative safety up the winding and icy road to this valley was making soft popping and crackling noises as its hot engine cooled down rapidly in the frigid air. Only those sounds, and an occasional whine from the wind high above, disturbed the silence. Cody took care in stepping off the deck, avoiding the 2 shallow steps which, he'd discovered only moments before, were slippery. He stood for a moment in the trampled snow that formed a rough walkway, staring at the rented jeep and then looking around quickly for any sign of a garage. Another building off to one side attracted his attention, and he made his way in that direction cautiously, silently cursing his lack of forethought in not having worn thick boots. His ankle boots just didn't allow for nearly a foot of snow. He glanced back at the lodge once, trying for the 3rd time to gain some impression of size or style, but was defeated again. The tall trees surrounding the building shadowed it too heavily to offer even a dim silhouette. It was big, though. That much he was sure of, and not a light showed anywhere. He located a window in the side of the fairly large outbuilding and brushed snow away from the shallow sill, cupping his hands around his eyes and leaning closer for a look inside. The interior was dim, but he felt his brows raise slightly as he identified the hulking shape of a snowcat on the far side. Nearer, he could barely make out a jeep very like his own but with a more battered appearance. Cody let his arms drop and backed away from the window, stumbling over rocks bordering a narrow trodden path. Regaining his balance and absently watching his quiet curses assume a misty shape in the cold air, he began to follow the path that led between the garage and the lodge around to the back. Where the hell was the woman anyway? Cody wondered. He was sure that Pepper had let her friend know that he was coming. She wasn't